Hello, anyone who's watching. This is David again from Daily Driven GA, and thank you for coming. If you're here, you're probably curious to know my updates on the Xc40 Recharge Twin Ultimate, which very soon I'm going to change over to acronym so we could just stop saying all of that. I've had the car for 8 days now. 8 days. It's officially mine. Well, not officially because I haven't gotten the title yet, but I made the payoff payment to Bridgecrest. I was not going to pay the monthly amount of $589 that they wanted me to pay at 10%, even though I have a mid 800 score, which is ridiculous, but you know, whatever. Carvana's got to make their money, right? Literally, I got the car at the exact price that I saw it on Hertz. I paid a $250 delivery fee, and at the end of the day, because I was a little confused about the trial period, so that there's a trial period that they give you 7 days, Carvana, and you know, they say risk-free, drive it for 7 days, return it if you don't like it. Usually that is a period of time in which it's highly recommended that you take the car to a mechanic or dealer and get it inspected, check for recalls, all that good stuff. Make sure nothing is hidden. And as I mentioned in another video, there was an issue. There was some scratch. Everything that I noticed was reported and captured well by Carvana. It wasn't on the Hertz site as clearly, but it was on the Carvana site. So honestly, I have to give Carvana a bit of some respect, and it's not respect, some props, and some kudos for what they did. The app was excellent. Pickup day wasn't great, but whatever. But I was able to take it home. They washed it as best they give it a quick wash, didn't do any kind of detailing or waxing, just vacuuming. So the car was really clean. The car was almost brand new, and there's a reason for that. It's an ex-rental from Hertz. They're not doing too well with EVs. Especially EVs like this one that have really bad range compared to Teslas and some others on the market. But if you're willing to just use it as a daily driver and really commit to the charging, then it's a great value at the used price, which is 50% off what Volvo was trying to sell it for originally, right? So it's great for that. Let's see. So yeah, the issue with the car was that the mileage was wrong. Hertz somehow reported it incorrectly. Carvana never double checked it. The odometer on this car is kind of hidden. It's not on display always. I will do my best to show you that. Okay, can't switch the camera around. Nope, can't switch it around. So anyway, the odometer is within a menu, so you have to press a button. It's right there. Once you press the button, the odometer is staring you in the face. But if you're not used to that, it's I don't know where they got the number. They may have gotten the number off a different vehicle. They said it had 12,000 miles. In fact, it had 7,000 miles, making it one of the lowest miles Xc40s that are on the market. The Hertz is typically selling the ones that I saw that were all for sale, and there are about 30 of them nationwide. They were all around 7,000 miles. So, and this was the outlier, which was why it was the cheapest. Turns out, as far as mileage, it was not an outlier. It was just the cheapest. So that worked out for me. Fortunate about that. I was a little bit concerned, especially given how Volvo displays it. I'll probably show that in a video or do a separate video if anyone's curious to know more about that. But at one point I thought it was maybe odometer fraud, but you can't really do that as easily with an EV as you could back in the day. That was just my paranoia kicking in. So I'm going to do a quick donation here at Goodwill. So back to the part of the car. So I've had the car for 8 days. I couldn't find anything wrong with it. Thank God. Did an update to the 3.19, I believe it is, and over-the-air update. Did it while I was still within the 7-day period. It went through, no issues. So far, everything's been great with the car. Just the range is an issue. Georgia is hot. My garage is non-air conditioned. My garage over this past weekend was in the high 90s, and that's brutal on a battery. So that could be an issue. So I'm probably gonna get a box fan to put in the garage and crack the door open and put it there and just try to blow some air out. Aim it towards the front, put it in front of the vehicle, nose out, and then have it blowing the hot air out, and maybe that will help keep it cooler. We'll see. More to come on that. That might be a separate video. So I'm doing level 1 charging occasionally. The plan is to charge at work, and then occasionally, and that's enough for me if I charge twice a week at work, and then when the weekend comes through, and if I'm giving my state of charge, I can plug it in level 1. Level 1 is not great, but for my home for now, I would need an electrician to come in and do a bunch of work, including load testing my home. My panel could do it. I have a 200 panel service level, but and I have some space on the board, but I have to pay someone. And I'm getting, so far from the calls that I've made, the range is anywhere from 400 to 1400. So not ideal. There's more to come on that. Plus the level 2, plus looking for rebates and incentives. Georgia Power doesn't offer too many, but there are some out there, so you just need to do a little bit more education on myself. If you guys know any resources that I can go to for that education, let me know. Other than that, the car's been great. Drives great. So fast. Sound system took me a day to get used to it, only because the levels, like trying to get the levels just right. The Harman Kardon sound system is phenomenal in this car. It really is. Once you dial it in, and coming from a GTI that had Defender, it was a little bit punchier. To me, it sounded crisper initially. So when I came in here, I was a little bit pissed about the sound system, but I've adjusted to it, and it actually sounds really good, especially with the surround feature. So that's been good. Little miffed about the USB. I had to download an app to connect to my USB, which I use for music. Granted, I stream and everything else, but there's a ton of music that I keep on my 128 gig flash drive, and I had to buy an adapter, and it was a whole thing. An adapter to connect to the USB in order to put it into the front, because there are only USB-C, 4 of them, but they're just USB-C. So wish they had done a normal USB 1, whatever, and then a bunch of at least 1, and the other ones could be C. Let's see, what else is there. Accessories, there's a ton of stuff out there on the market. Fortunately, I guess one of the good things about having a Swedish car that has a bunch of Chinese parts and powertrain and components is that you can get a bunch of stuff from AliExpress that is pretty high quality, including at some point down the road, if I choose to do it, a separate key fob. That might be another video. I have to get Vita. It's a whole process in order to do my own key. Not sure if I want to do that, but at the same time, the dealer wants $700 for a separate key fob, which is ridiculous. The key fob itself is plastic. You crack it open, there's a chip inside. You program that chip to pair with the car. I don't see why that's worth $700. Yeah, $500 for the key, and then the rest is programming it. So I don't know. Meanwhile, the key is really $30 everywhere you go. $30 on eBay used, $30 on AliExpress. Actual keys this isn't some crap. It's the actual key. With it's the Volvo. So besides that, this video has been running on a bit. I would highly recommend for anyone that's looking at an EV. This is a great time to look at an EV. There's a weird kind of price parity between EV and comparable ICE cars that are on the market. I was originally shopping for Mazda CX-5s, and I really wish they had a hybrid because I didn't want to get a turbo. Not that I have anything against turbos. I love my GTI, but I was getting kind of tired of having to put in premium. If I got with the Mazda, I could have put regular in it, but that's, why would you get a turbo direct injection engine and just stick regular in it? At the cost of horsepower, but that can't be great for your engine overall. Over the course of 200 or 150k miles. So searching around, I was looking at the Lexus, the RAV4s, hybrids. Hybrids have more power than the naturally aspirated. The naturally aspirated engine's a little bit, it was okay, but it's not great. Same thing with the Mazda. My wife has a CX-5 naturally aspirated, great car. I love working in it. It's super reliable, but sometimes it just can't get out of its own way. And here in Atlanta, Georgia, you need to be able to get out of your own way and get out of everyone else's way. You need to have some power. You really do. There are so many incidents or so many examples on the road where someone's going under slower than everyone else, and it just sparks off a chain reaction of just everyone being a-holes on the road, and you don't want to be caught in the middle of that, right? With yourself or with your family or with your brand new car. You don't want to have to deal with that shit. So there's that. So looking around, I was looking at Teslas. I test drove many of them. I know they have their advantages. I know they're like the leaders in the space and battery technology. I just could not get over the interiors. And then from a pricing standpoint, I just could not get over the fact that for the price that I paid for this, I would have to buy a 3-year-old Tesla with anywhere from 30 to 38,000 and up miles. And even though they give you, it's better to buy it directly from Tesla, I will say that, because they give you an additional year and 10,000 miles, which will come in handy. And their warranty on the battery is pretty good. Yet and still, the 3-year-old ones don't have the new infotainment, the new tablet, which is basically the core of the driving experience with a Tesla, right? It controls so much. So I had the old Woofer, I think it's the Atom processor versus the AMD processor, Ryzen. And you really want that Ryzen because all the new features are going there. They're not going to support the Intel chip, the Intel one going forward. And then bumper to bumper is is unaffected. That will remain 50K, what have you. So that coupled with the fact that every Tesla, they're all over the place in Georgia now, and all of them a lot of them are in pretty rough shape, right? I mean, it seems like these wheels curb if you breathe on them. Hard to find when used without curbed wheels, and just didn't feel premium anymore, which is a shame because Tesla, it's kind of like their thing, right? But I do appreciate what they've done. If you're an early adopter, you're in a tough spot because your car's been depreciating. But as long as you don't sell it, you don't have to worry about it, right? Just keep driving the thing, keep it in the family, pass it on. Just don't, for everyone else, it's been great. It's driven down the used market to the point where I was able to get this at a price less than it would have cost me to get a CX-5 Turbo Signature. So spec for spec, highest trim Xc40, highest trim CX-5. I came in 4,000 under that, right? You just don't find that. RAV4s, hybrids, couldn't find any of them under 36,000 without, and being under 30,000 miles. They command a premium, and in some cases it's kind of messed up because the Prime, the RAV4 Primes, when they came out, they were around 52. There were some incentives on leases, and some people were taking advantage of the lease and then buying it out, immediately. So so that way you don't have to worry about the tax credit. Come tax time, they can get that off the, right off the hood. So a lot of these people were getting the car for, mid 40s, and 3 to 4 years later, they're trying to sell it used. 3 years later, they're trying to sell it used for exactly what they would have paid. So $42,000, $43,000, $44,000 they're trying to sell it for. I mean, I guess that's bragging rights, but it's kind of a dick move, in my opinion, right? So, but I guess it is what the market is saying. It's the value of the car, so I can't fault anyone for trying to make their money. Good for you. Hope it works out for those who are doing it. The one guy I corresponded with, I was trying to offer him 40. Yeah, I was going in lower. He counter offered exactly what his price was, so I've got the point. Hope you sold it. I do know it's been on the market for almost 8 months, so good luck with that. It should be dropping in price on its own, maybe. The NX300H, I was looking at that for a while. Great car. Hard to find those for under 40. Really is. So moved on from that. And I'm a GTI guy, but I needed something slightly bigger. The Tiguan, they made them. Volkswagen has made a bunch of mistakes with every other car other than the GTI and the R. To me anyway, it seems that way. That Tiguan deserves the engine from the R right off the top, and they've actually should have kept that body style for the ID4. Granted, it came out with the ID4, but they should have created a converted version for the Tiguan. If they, that body style, I love it. Just don't love the powertrain at all. So that is my long rant on where I'm at with the car. I've done some modifications, and I will do a separate video showing that. I've added some things, roof rack. I got at home. I got some other things to put in. Some things cool. Some things unfortunately I have to put in. Which, for instance, there is no sunglass holder in this car. Find that odd. Right there. Nothing there. I mean, it's like I don't know. Those might be mics. So there is something I have that will replace the oh no handle, which for the driver's side is kind of, I guess they, for different markets, I guess they leave it in there. So this will be where the sunglasses will be. It's very kind of cool. I got some mud flaps, got roof rack, got some other stuff, got tint. I'm not gonna go too crazy with this car because I do have to start saving for the level 2 home charger. All right, so that said, if you have any questions about this car or the GTI or any other cars that I've had before, Forte Turbo, Honda Fit, Accords, etc., you want any questions, hit me up, DM me, I'll respond. I have a ton of information about GTIs. I mean, that was a great experience for me in Georgia, having a GTI. I'm really grateful I was able to sell it to a young man who I know will be taking care of the car. So, hopefully gives them lots of years of enjoyment. Those cars they get a bad rap, but they're great cars. Yes, there's some things that you have to address, but there's such a great support for that car in Georgia. So many good shops in Georgia. Aftermarket parts are out there. They're easily found. That EA 888 engine is a great engine. And yes, the water pump is dookie. Not on, mine was pretty good though. I got lucky with my car overall. I only had one issue, but decided it was time to move on. And because of the market, I wanted to try an EV. Oh, also another thing too, the warranty. The battery warranties and the powertrain warranties on these are better than what you could find on an ICE car that's not Hyundai brand new or Kia brand new. Keep that in mind, because you buy a Hyundai or Kia secondhand used, that warranty is no longer 10-100, it's 560 from wherever you're at. I learned that the hard way. That plus the overall service experience with my Kia was the reason why I would never go back to the brand, even though I really liked the Ioniq 5. Had some issues with the exterior in certain angles, but I did like the car a bunch. But the dealer shenanigans on the sales side and the service experiences from my previous car, where it just no one knew anything, and then they were trying to get me to pay for everything. That left a sour taste in my mouth. I take care of my cars. You can't blame aftermarket springs for a vacuum leak. Anyway, any questions, hit me up. Bye.